You were never lazy. I want to start with a dangerous idea. What if you spent years blaming yourself for a problem you never actually had? Think about it. How many times have you called yourself lazy? How many times have you promised yourself you'd do better tomorrow? How many times have you looked at someone successful and thought, why can't I be more like them? Most people already have an answer. Because I'm not disciplined enough, because I procrastinate, because I always quit, because I'm lazy. But there's a problem with that explanation. If you're truly lazy, why do you care so much? Why does it bother you? Why do you keep trying again? Why do you keep watching videos like this? Why do you keep looking for answers? Lazy people don't spend years worrying about their potential. People with potential do. And that's where psychology reveals something fascinating. The human brain is not designed to pursue goals. The human brain is designed to conserve energy. Thousands of years ago, that helped us survive. Today, it creates a strange problem. Your brain doesn't automatically reward progress. It rewards prediction, novelty, possibility, the beginning. And once you understand that, your entire life starts making sense. Think about every goal you've ever started, the excitement, the energy, the motivation, the certainty. You weren't imagining it. Something real was happening. Your brain was rewarding the possibility of change, but then reality arrived. The repetitions, the boredom, the waiting, the slow progress. And that's where most people make a mistake. They assume their motivation disappeared. It didn't. They simply reach the stage where psychology takes over, the stage nobody talks about, the stage where the reward disappears before the result arrives. And this single misunderstanding quietly shapes entire lives, because some people interpret that feeling as a signal to stop. Others interpret it as a signal to continue. And the difference between those two interpretations can change everything. Not your week, not your month, your entire future. Because the biggest lie most people believe is this: if I were truly capable, it wouldn't feel this hard. But psychology suggests the opposite. The discomfort isn't proof you're failing. It's proof you've moved beyond novelty and entered the phase where real growth begins. And that's exactly why so many people never reach their potential. Not because they lack talent, not because they lack intelligence, but because they mistake a normal psychological process for a personal weakness. And once you see that, you stop fighting yourself. You start understanding yourself. And that changes the game completely. And once you see that, you stop fighting yourself. You start understanding yourself. And that changes the game completely. Because think about what happens when someone believes they're lazy. Every failure becomes proof. Every missed workout becomes proof. Every unfinished project becomes proof. Every broken promise becomes proof. Slowly, without realizing it, they build a case against themselves, a case so convincing that they stop questioning it. I'm just not disciplined. I'm not the kind of person who follows through. This is just who I am. But psychology has discovered something interesting. Human beings are terrible at explaining their own behavior. We love explanations, but we often choose the wrong ones. In psychology, this is sometimes called a misattribution. Something happens. We experience the result. Then we create a story to explain it. The story feels true, but feeling true and being true are not the same thing. Imagine someone who constantly abandons goals. They might conclude, I quit because I'm lazy. But what if the real reason is completely different? What if they are addicted to beginnings? Think about it. How many unfinished goals have been replaced by brand new goals? How many abandoned habits were followed by another habit? How many unfinished books were replaced by another book? How many unfinished projects were replaced by another exciting idea? That isn't the behavior of someone who lacks ambition. It's the behavior of someone whose brain keeps chasing novelty. And novelty is powerful because novelty creates possibility. And possibility feels amazing. When you start something new, there are no failures yet, no mistakes, no setbacks, no evidence that it might not work. The future remains perfect, and the brain loves perfect futures. The problem is that reality eventually arrives. Every goal reaches a point where progress becomes invisible. The gym stops feeling exciting. The business becomes repetitive. The skill becomes frustrating. The book becomes difficult. And suddenly, the emotional reward disappears. Not because you're doing something wrong, because you're doing something normal. This is the phase where most people turn around. Not because they can't continue, because continuing no longer feels rewarding. And that's where a tiny misunderstanding creates massive consequences. Because if you believe discomfort means you're failing, you'll stop. If you believe boredom means the goal isn't right for you, you'll stop. If you believe motivation should always be present, you'll stop. But if you understand the psychology behind what's happening, everything changes. Now boredom becomes expected. Now frustration becomes expected. Now slow progress becomes expected, and expected obstacles lose their power. This is one of the biggest differences between people who consistently finish things and people who don't. It's not that one group feels better, it's that one group interprets their feelings differently. When most people lose excitement, they think something is wrong. When high performers lose excitement, they think, good, now the real work starts. That single shift sounds small, but over years, it creates completely different lives, because life is not shaped by what you start. Life is shaped by what you continue after the excitement disappears. And that's the part almost nobody is taught. We are taught how to dream, we are taught how to plan, we are taught how to set goals, but very few people are taught what happens psychologically after the honeymoon phase ends. And that's exactly where futures are built or abandoned. The truth is, your potential is rarely decided on the days you feel motivated. It's decided on ordinary days, boring days, repetitive days, the days when nothing exciting happens. Because those are the days when psychology stops being a theory and becomes reality. And once you understand that, you stop asking, why am I like this? And start asking a much better question. What if this feeling is completely normal? Because that question might save you years of unnecessary self-doubt.